You were the #1 pick in the draft. Had you ever been to Seattle before then?
Never.
Was that a little freaky for you?
Yeah, for sure. It was my first time living by myself, first time grocery shopping by myself, basically doing anything by myself. You know, college really prepared me.
Welcome to Moreau Sports Media. Jewell Loyd has just made herself an available partner for trade requests. The Seattle Storm this offseason have had a lot of turmoil. The lawsuit against the Seattle Storm organization and their front office and coaches has been dismissed because there was no case of bullying found, but Jewell Loyd has made it absolutely clear that she will not be returning to the Seattle Storm. Loyd has now made herself available for trade requests. With that being said, here are 5 potential destinations in which Jewell Loyd could land. Number 5, the Las Vegas Aces. The Las Vegas Aces are still one of the premier franchises in the WNBA. Before their loss to the New York Liberty in last year's semifinals, they were running on back-to-back championships. Now, with the impending free agency of Kelsey Plum, another Olympian similar to Jewell Loyd, they are looking to retool. Additionally, by the end of the 2025-26 season, they will have key free agents including Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, and A'ja Wilson. If they're looking to retain 2 to 3 of these players, including Wilson, they're going to need to make sure that they are still a contender. Adding a veteran like Jewell Loyd, who will not take much time to acclimate into their system and plug and play into their team, would be a great benefit. And for Loyd, she gets to go to a destination in Las Vegas in which she would literally try and crush Seattle. This can make a lot of sense because the Aces love having guards that can score, and Loyd is still one of the premier guards in the league. Additionally, she also plays defense really well, which will also make up the difference for losing Kelsey Plum, if they happen to lose her. Number 4, the Phoenix Mercury. The Phoenix Mercury have a myriad of veterans that can dominate a basketball game. Brittney Griner is still one of the 10 best players in the WNBA. Kahleah Copper is still a top 10 player in the WNBA. And they still have Diana Taurasi, who arguably is one of the greatest women basketball players of all time. Now, if you insert Loyd into this lineup, in addition to having a Natasha Cloud, you can easily see Cloud, Loyd, and Copper playing in the backcourt and front court together. Those would be your 1, 2, and 3 options. You'd have a really good 3-headed monster just in that alone, meaning they'd be running 3-guard sets and they would still be able to play fast. Having Loyd, would that mean Taurasi would have to come off the bench, arguably? Or would they just play 4 guards and then 1 center with Brittney Griner in the middle? Now, that also is a combination that could work. And for Taurasi, who is all about winning, especially at this part of her career, she would have another shot at another title in Phoenix. And for Jewell Loyd, it goes the same. And for Kahleah Copper, it goes the same. And for Brittney Griner, it also goes the same. Mixing in this group of veterans together, they could form a Super Avengers type of roster for one last go-raw and potentially see what they could do in the playoffs. Phoenix finished 7th in the playoffs last season, and adding in Jewell Loyd would absolutely help increase their chances of finishing in a higher seed. Number 3, the Connecticut Sun. The Connecticut Sun are a team who are desperately trying to get over the hump and win their first championship in franchise history. Having players such as Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner, as well as a Dejanay Carrington, Marina Mayberry, and a Brianna Jones, and now bringing in a Jewell Loyd to that mix and core, that could prove to be more than enough to actually get them what they need. The Sun have been plagued recently by their lack of offensive firepower, and a 20-point scorer like Jewell Loyd would absolutely address those concerns immediately. Having players like Dejanay Carrington, and again, when you have a player like Jewell Loyd and having a player such as Dejanay Carrington who's tenacious on defense, they would be really formidable against any opponent. You would have 3 players who can guard the opponent's best player. Additionally, Connecticut may or may not be retaining Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner next season. So if they're able to get a Jewell Loyd and they happen to depart, it's something that could still work out for their franchise. Number 2, the Minnesota Lynx. The Minnesota Lynx almost captured another championship in their franchise this season when they lost to the New York Liberty in the 2024 WNBA Finals. Napheesa Collier separated herself as one of the best players in the WNBA as she finished second in overall MVP voting, but adding in a player like Jewell Loyd next to Fee with a Courtney Williams, that could be a deadly trio. Now, if you think about best backcourts in the league, adding a Courtney Williams with a Jewell Loyd, the two of them would be a very formidable backcourt. When it comes to having clutch baskets late and the fact that Jewell Loyd would be able to provide offense and defense as one of the better two-way guards in the WNBA, it could be a very scary pairing if they're able to get Jewell Loyd in Minnesota. Number 1, the Chicago Sky. You have a budding superstar in Angel Reese, a budding star in Camila Cardoso, a star in Kennedy Carter, and then you have a bunch of auxiliary role players and pieces that also fit around this team. Some of the things that they are missing is shooting and scoring. Having a player alongside Kennedy Carter who can space the floor and Jewell Loyd would only help not only Angel Reese, but also Camila Cardoso. Additionally, Jewell Loyd is the type of steady presence who would also bring calmness into the locker room, poise, and she'd be great in clutch situations. Also, Jewell is from the area. The Chicago Sky play in Skokie, Illinois, where Loyd went to high school in the same area. Growing up and being from the area, they could put together a package that features the number 3 pick in the 2024 WNBA draft and manage to get Loyd into their franchise. They would still have the 10th pick in the draft in order to do some other things, meaning in bring in younger players to see what they can do moving forward with their franchise. Those are my top 5 picks for Jewell Loyd's destinations this offseason. We will have to wait and see where this progresses. Let me know in the chat if we missed a place or where would you try and like to see her play.